evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling you in on them over the next half hour with a special focus on 1 year of the Narendra Modi government and the economy. With our guest, we'll be talking about that too as well. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hard sell his government's successes in front of a huge crowd in Mathura, counts fight against corruption as his biggest achievement. Opposition goes all out to counter the government's claims. Congress calls Modi government on its claim of improved economy. Arvind Kejriwal holds his cabinet meet in the heart of Delhi with thousands watching. Special assembly session to discuss MHA order starts tomorrow. Intense heat wave sweeps across the country. Nearly 500 killed so far. Telangana and Andhra Pradesh the worst hit states with deaths of over 400 people. And in a major crackdown on human traffickers, Malaysian authorities unearthed over 130 mass graves, also identified 28 human trafficking camps. Our top story this evening, Prime Minister Narendra Modi marked 1 year of his government with a mega rally in Mathura today. Addressing his supporters, Modi chose to not only list out his government's achievements and successes over the past 1 year, but also hit out at the previous Congress-led government, saying that Achhe Din are finally here for Indians. Modi said it was time for the corrupt to be scared. Counting the fight against corruption as one of his achievements, Modi also attacked the UPA government for the scams it was embroiled in. He also sought the public's support over the next 5 years for finishing the work he had started.
आप मुझे बताइए, अगर आपने ये सरकार न चुनी होती और वही सरकार रहने दी होती, तो देश का हाल बदला होता, परिवर्तन आया होता। आप मुझे बताइए, पिछले साल जब यूपीए की सरकार थी, देश के हाल बुरे थे कि नहीं थे?
The Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Monday asked taxmen to squeeze the parallel economy in a fair manner, assuring honest taxpayers that they have nothing to fear under the new black money law. He also said that improvement in tax collection would increase the government's ability to step up spending on social and infrastructure projects, providing relief to individual taxpayers.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has promised a reasonable compliance window under the new black money law for persons with unaccounted funds stashed abroad. Defaulters can declare assets through a compliance window and pay a penalty tax of 60%.
Evasion has to be checked. The parallel economy has to be squeezed. And yet it has to be done in a very fair manner, not in a harsh manner.
Jaitley added that improvement in tax collection will help step up spending on social and infrastructure projects and provide relief to individual taxpayers.
Even if there are larger collections, we'd like to see those being invested in areas of infrastructure, in areas of irrigation, in the social sectors, so that that is able to bring larger dividends back to the economy.
Finance Minister also asserted that for the current fiscal, direct tax collection may improve by 14 to 15%, and there was a possibility that the fiscal deficit target could be improved upon. But he also said that the government's priority is to increase spending on social sector schemes instead of refining the fiscal deficit target. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, a focus story. The NDA government's 1 year in office marks some important changes in the economic field. The government was able to turn around the economy and contain price rise and pass some important legislations. As per the latest data released this month, the centre has also been able to contain the fiscal deficit and revenue deficit a little below than the budget targets. So here's a look at how the government performed to revive a lagging economy in the past 1 year.
There was a general environment of gloom. उसके स्थान पर एक उत्साह का माहौल देश में बना है.
Finance Minister's confident words were based on the fact that the new government was able to change the perception of policy paralysis during the last leg of UPA2 regime. a fact that was also recognized by credit rating agencies and US President Barack Obama, who hailed Prime Minister Narendra Modi for shaking up India's bureaucratic inertia.
Decisiveness, even in the face of obstructionism, has been an important hallmark as far as this government is concerned.
The finance minister's charge of obstructionism was rebutted by principal opposition party Congress. Jaitley's predecessor P. Chidambaram squarely blamed BJP during the UPA 2 regime for stalling key legislations.
In fact, it was Mr. Arun Jaitley who in a speech in London and repeated on another occasion said, obstructionism is a legitimate parliamentary tactic. But we are not obstructing. Did we obstruct the insurance bill? They obstructed the insurance bill for 5 successive sessions.
However, in terms of certain economic conditions, the NDA government seems to be fortune's favourite or plain lucky. Due to demand-supply situation, prices of crude oil fell from a high of $110 a barrel to $50 to $60 a barrel in just 6 months last year. It had a dramatic impact on inflation and government finances, particularly high current account deficit. Wholesale inflation fell to minus 2.65% in April this year, as against a high of over 5.5% during the same month last year. To its credit, the government successfully conducted auction proceeds for coal mines, which are expected to be over 3.5 lakh crore rupees, and for telecom spectrum it is around 1.1 lakh crore rupees. On legislative front, NDA was able to pass insurance bill to increase FDI cap in the sector to 49%. Amendments to Companies Bill of 2014, Black Money Bill, and also the Coal Mines Bill and the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Bills. However, 2 crucial bills, one on land acquisition and another on a common goods and services tax, are still stuck.
We have got no states on board. The Lok Sabha has cleared it. It's before the Rajya Sabha. I hope it should be cleared very soon.
While expressing the support for the GST bill, Congress accused the government of bypassing the parliament.
The members of parliament felt that this is an important constitutional amendment. It deserves to go to a standing committee. All bills must go to a standing committee. In fact, it is this government which is bypassing the standing committee.
Government also extended reach of financial inclusion by opening over 15 crore basic bank accounts under Jan Dhan Yojana. More than 7 crore people subscribe basic pension services launched this month. But the situation may change this year, as India is staring at an unprecedented agrarian crisis on the back of unseasonal rains that destroyed rabi crops. Possibility of a weak monsoon complicates the problem. Crude prices have also firmed up by around 30% in last few months. Any delay in passing the crucial bills like GST may hurt the investor sentiment and evaporate early gains. Puts from Vishal Daya, Krishnan Tripaঠি's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And we're joined by Urmi Goswami, assistant editor at the Economic Times, to help us better understand the performance of the NDA government vis-a-vis the macroeconomic picture. There are a whole host of positives as well as some negatives. So, is 1 year enough to really judge the performance of a government in the first place, Urmi?
Well, actually, 1 year seems like too short a span, and it's kind of arbitrary. But given that as it is, we are marking 1 year, and so is the government. Now, in this 1 year, we have seen the major indicators, whether it's inflation, it's fiscal deficit, even there's some GDP growth, whichever way you look at it, and the current account deficit. These are all, showing positive signs in the sense that both fiscal deficit and current account deficit are under control. Of course, people might turn around and say that, look, that is on account of the crude oil prices, the global slowdown in prices. But the fact is that if there was, the government has not allowed matters to slide, and that is a big plus. And of course, there is concern that the huge investments that people spoke about, or the government promise, or the BJP promise during the campaign, is not happening. Now, clearly, there is no magical solution. So, in the first year, yes, there are the right signs, but does there more work need to be done? Yes, of course, more work needs to be done. And one of the areas is how to ensure kickstart investments. And that's where we come to the issue of the huge, non-performing assets lying with the banks. And the government now has to look for ways in which it can ring fence these, NPAs, so that, companies invest further, because as long as there is huge debt on the balance sheet of the companies, they're not going to invest in a new project.
Absolutely.
So that becomes the crucial area for them to look at. Your report mentioned the land bill, GST. Now these are also again issues that need to be dealt with. Of course, they're stuck more in political logjam than anything else, but that also needs to be worked at. But the big issue, I think, is how you address this issue of NPAs and arbitration on dues. Companies whose work has been done but payment hasn't happened, it's stuck in arbitration court. Then after the arbitration board clears it, you go into high court, and you have to find a way to ease money into the investment market.
Right. All right, so of course, major points for the government as well as going against the government. But let's listen in also to what the opposition have been saying. I will just come back to you, Urmi, to understand this a little better. Now, rejecting the NDA government's claim on its achievements in the last 1 year, the Congress-led opposition counter-campaigned to highlight its failures. Now, former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram pointed out several areas in the economy which have not performed well during this period. Other parties too slammed the government for failing to fulfill some of its key poll promises.
At a time when the NDA is busy highlighting its achievements at the end of 1 year in office, opposition is leaving no stone unturned to counter the claims. One of the key points argued by the government is the improving health of economy, something that has been challenged by the principal opposition party, Congress. Jaitley's predecessor P. Chidambaram pointed out some of them on Monday.
How that vision is being translated into specific policies. And I don't see how those policies are being broken down into specific programs and being implemented.
He also said that high prices of consumer durables is still a cause of concern.
While retail inflation has indeed come down, there are at least 3 dals and 4 or 5 vegetables and milk where there is a considerable price rise hurting the average family.
Other political parties also question the government for failing to live up to its poll promises.
समाधान कहीं है ही नहीं, सिर्फ ढोल पीटा जा रहा। अब ढोल पीटने से कैसे मना करें हम? लेकिन कोई जो कहा था उन्होंने, एक बात है जो इसका समाधान निकला। सबसे बड़ी विकट समस्या तो बेकारी, बेरोजगारी।
Opposition parties have planned to hold a number of press conferences and rallies in the run-up to the first anniversary of the Modi government. The aim is to highlight the failure of the government in last 1 year. Vishal Dahiya's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And let's go across to Urmi Goswami, assistant editor at the Economics Times, who's helping us understand the performance of the NDA government over the past 1 year. The opposition, of course, finding holes to punch in what the government's claiming. But Urmi, is it more about managing expectations, about the promise of a lot? The Prime Minister today in his rally had to say that Achhe Din are already here. But is it too soon to say that?
Yes and no. Look, if you look at issues like financial inclusion through the Jan Dhan Yojana, and then the 3 social security schemes, the pension, the health insurance, and the accident insurance, there has been a huge pickup. Now the Congress, which is the principal opposition party, could turn around and claim these are our schemes, and what are you taking credit for? But the fact is that fast implementation has happened. And that is a big credit for the government. So yes, in a sense, if you take decisiveness as an indicator of a performance of a government, then the Prime Minister is perhaps not wrong in saying Achhe Din aa gaye. But is that the end of our problems? No. As I mentioned earlier, you have to kickstart the investment cycle. And for that, you need to address the issue of NPAs. You need to be more decisive in taking certain decisions. I'll give you a small example. Right in our backyard, the NGT's decision on the Okla bird sanctuary and how you couldn't construct there. Now, it's been a year and the government is yet to come up with a notification as to how much of that area is an eco-sensitive zone. Now, what is taking them so long? So you need to move fast on certain issues. Now, there is a political reasoning behind it. Remember, one of the biggest charges being constantly leveled at this government is that they are pro-corporate. Now, the government has two choices. One, it kind of rolls back and then decides to go and say, do everything it can to show that it is not pro-corporate, or it goes ahead with taking decisions which may appear to be pro-corporate at the face value, but actually have long-term benefits for everybody. And that is where the government needs to step in. It needs to actually go ahead. I mean, governments across the world, I mean, the most recent one was in the UK. You saw David Cameron come back to power despite the fact that there were a lot of doubts. And how did he manage to do that? He took measures which his opposition said were unfriendly, the austerity measures. But what they did rather was, you implemented austerity measures and you implemented them early on in your tenure,
right,
and you communicated better. So this is what this government too needs to do. You don't have to be apologetic. You have to be sure-footed in the decisions you take.
Yes, that certainly seems to be the case, and decisiveness is what even Prime Minister Narendra Modi was hard selling in Mathura today, of course, other than saying that corruption has also come to an end. But Urmi, thank you very much for coming in and helping us assess the NDA government's performance on the economic front a little better. Thanks so much for that. On that note, we'll take a very quick break, but coming up on the other side, the CBSE Class 12 results are out, and as usual, the girls have outshone the boys. We'll tell you more on the other side.
One of the key areas which is under scrutiny at the end of 1 year of NDA rule is economy. What have been the initiatives and achievements in this area? Has the economy been on upturn? Where is it heading? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha TV.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's cabinet meeting is being held in front of thousands of people in the heart of the national capital. After completing 100 days in office, the ruling Aam Aadmi Party plans to escalate the tussle with the centre at this meeting. Kejriwal government has accused the Modi government of trying to rule Delhi through Lieutenant Governor Najib Jung. Kejriwal and Jung are embroiled in a power tussle over the appointments and transfer of key officials in Delhi. The AAP government also called a special two-day emergency session of the Assembly tomorrow to discuss the issue after the centre issued a circular backing the Lieutenant Governor. It is likely to press for a full statehood for Delhi.
नोटिफिकेशन के जरिए अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल कदम उठाते हुए वो सब काम कर रहे हैं कि आपने कह दिया दिल्ली के चुने हुए मुख्यमंत्री और पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार के पास एक क्लर्क की नियुक्ति तक का अधिकार नहीं है। ये नोटिफिकेशन जारी करके आप चुने हुए सीएम के मुख्यमंत्री के हाथ कमजोर करके एलजी को ताकत देते। तो मुझे लगता है ये जुमलेबाजी, ये इनके हर मुद्दे के ऊपर यू टर्न बहुत लंबा नहीं चलने वाला है। बिल्कुल हम बैठे हुए हैं इनको चुनौतियां देने।
जिस प्रकार से अरुण जेटली जी का बयान आया कि इस पे आम सहमति बनानी चाहिए दिल्ली को पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा दिए जाने के मामले में, मैं बड़ी विनम्रता पूर्वक पूछना चाहता हूं कि पिछले 20 सालों से क्या भारतीय जनता पार्टी दिल्ली की जनता से फरेब कर रही थी? क्या दिल्ली की जनता से झूठ बोल रही थी? पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा दिलाने का बिल मदन लाल खुराना जी पास कर चुके हैं दिल्ली की असेंबली में, जिसपे लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी ने अपनी सहमति जताई है स्टैंडिंग कमेटी में, जिस मुद्दे को स्वयं प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 14 के लोकसभा के चुनाव के दौरान साफ तौर पे कहा था कि दिल्ली को पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा मिलना चाहिए। भारतीय जनता पार्टी और उसके नेता और देश के प्रधानमंत्री दिल्ली की जनता के साथ झूठ और फरेब बोलते रहे।
Almost 500 people have lost their lives to the sweltering heat wave across the country. The mercury has touched unprecedented levels at many places. The Met Department has warned that the heat wave will continue this week and the monsoon would only provide respite after the 30th of May.
As the temperature soared past 45 degrees, the Met Department has predicted the severe heat conditions to continue this week. The searing heat wave has taken the maximum toll on southern states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, where the number of casualties is more than 400. The Met Department has issued a severe heat wave warning for all 10 districts of Telangana for the next 3 days.
Heat wave is still continuing in both states, particularly Telangana and coastal Andhra Pradesh. So, highest temperature recorded at Tuni, that is 47.2. Next, Jangamaheswaram 46.8. So it will further continue today and tomorrow also. Most probably the heat wave will continue. After that we will get some relief. So coastal AP, Rayalaseema, Telangana will get some rain. So temperature may fall 3 to 4 degrees.
तो दिल्ली का देखते हैं तो कल सफदरजंग में जो हमारी ऑब्जर्वेटरी है वहाँ तापमान 43.5 रिकॉर्ड हुआ था। पालम ऑब्जर्वेटरी में 44 के आसपास तापमान रिकॉर्ड हुआ है। अभी भी संभावना ये है कि अगले 3 दिनों तक तापमान में ज्यादा परिवर्तन नहीं आएगा।
Other parts of the country too are reeling under the summer heat. In Delhi, the maximum temperature was recorded at 43.5 degrees Celsius yesterday. The mercury in Uttar Pradesh too was high, with Allahabad touching 47.7 degrees Celsius, which was the hottest in the state. Rajasthan too did not get any respite from the blistering heat. 2 deaths were reported in Bundi district. Jaisalmer and Sri Ganganagar districts remain the hottest places, recording a maximum of 45.6 degrees Celsius. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Gujar community's statewide stir entered its 5th day today as they blocked NH11 passing through Rajasthan. The Gujars are demanding 5% reservation in government jobs, saying it is their right. A round of talks with the ministers of the Rajasthan government on Saturday failed to resolve the issue, in turn leading the Gujars to intensify their stir. Gujars are fighting to be reclassified in order to qualify for government jobs and university quotas that are reserved. The matter is sub judice before the Rajasthan High Court. The CBSE Class 12 results were declared today. The overall pass percentage is 82%, marginally lower than last year. The pass percentage of girls stood higher than that of boys. M. Gayatri of New Greenfield School in Saket in Delhi is the topper. She scored 496 marks out of 500, a percentage of 99.2. The board also announced that the post-result counselling would begin next Monday and would continue till the 8th of June. The results for Class 10 would be announced on the 27th of May. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated all students who passed the examination.
CBSE Class 12 results have been declared today. There were 10.4 lakh candidates who appeared this year, which was 1.2% more than last year. The pass percentage of 2015 is 82%, which is marginally lower than that of last year.
मैं तो normal student की तरह ही पढ़ती थी, 5 से 6 घंटे एक दिन में, and regularly पढ़ती थी. नहीं, ऑल इंडिया का तो नहीं सोचा था बिल्कुल भी, सिर्फ 95 प्लस का था.
And for all the other national stories, let's take you nationwide. The DMK has decided to file an appeal against Tamil Nadu Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha's acquittal in a DA case in the Supreme Court. In a statement issued today, Party Supremo M. Karunanidhi said that the Supreme Court has twice said that the DMK has the right to participate in the proceedings in this case. Earlier this month, the Karnataka High Court acquitted Jayalalitha in the case, paving her way for return as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu after 8 months. The National Green Tribunal has extended the stay on its order banning diesel vehicles of over 10 years old in Delhi, NCR, till the 13th of July. The Green Panel has now listed the matter for a final hearing on that day, while asking the Centre and Delhi government to file their reply within 3 weeks on the reasons for non-compliance of its earlier order. Earlier this month, the NGT had pulled up the centre for seeking stay on the ban order. Maoists torched 32 vehicles in Bihar today during a shutdown called by the group. Around 8 Maoists dressed in security personnel uniforms stopped vehicles on National Highway 2 and set them ablaze. The shutdown has been called in protest against the state CRPF and the state police and the CRPF killing one of the rebels on the 17th of May. Militants today struck at 2 places in Kashmir, killing a civilian and injuring 3 others, including a Jawan. Militants first fired at the franchisee of BSNL at Iqbal Market in Sopore. One of the BSNL workers died while 3 more were injured. In the second attack, militants fired at the patrol party of the Indian Army in Kulgam area of South Kashmir. 1 soldier was injured in the incident. Well, some international news now, and in a major crackdown on traffickers, the Malaysian police forces have found mass graves suspected to be that of migrants. 139 graves have been found in human trafficking camps along the Malaysia-Thailand border. Forensic experts on the scene are trying to still figure out the number of bodies buried out there.
139 suspected migrant graves, 28 human trafficking camps unearthed near the Thai-Malaysian border. Shocking revelations after a major crackdown by Malaysian police on traffickers following the Asian migrant crisis. Police suspect that each grave could contain more than one body.
We have discovered 139 which we believe to be graves. Yeah? We don't know what are underneath. The first team has gone in this morning, our forensic and medical team, to exhume whatever remains there, conduct post-mortem on those remains which we found to get to the cause of death.
Malaysian President Najib Razak has ordered an investigation to hunt down human traffickers. The International Organization for Migrants meanwhile claims that since the Thai crackdown on smugglers and traffickers, several people have been seen roaming in the forests. The organization has also rescued some from the detention camps, most afflicted with diseases.
We will investigate, and we will not condone anybody, including Malaysian officials.
Southeast Asia is facing a humanitarian crisis, as thousands of migrants from Bangladesh and Myanmar are stranded on boats in the open sea, looking out for a new country to settle in. Unfortunately for them, most are at the mercy of smugglers and human traffickers. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
For more international news, here's Global Buzz. Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi today asserted that the country will take back Ramadi soon. His statement came a day after the US Defense Secretary Ash Carter said that Iraqi forces lacked the will to fight the Islamic State militants at Ramadi. Senior Iraqi officials also criticized the US for the remarks. Abadi also sought more support from the international coalition to tackle the IS menace. At least 3 people were killed and 15 others were reportedly injured in an explosion in Pakistan's Balochistan province. The attack reportedly targeted a motorcade of the son of Pakistan President Mamnoon Hussain late on Sunday. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack so far. The Polish President Komorowski has conceded defeat in the country's presidential election after the exit polls predicted a victory for his rival Duda by 6 percentage points. If so, Poland will replace its conservative head of state with the more right-wing Law and Justice Party. The final results are expected later today. Nobel laureate mathematician John Nash and his wife were killed in a car crash in the US late on Sunday. Nash was 86-year-old. Nash's life, his severe mental illness and eventual recovery became the subject of the book and Oscar-winning film titled A Beautiful Mind. For all the sports action, here's Sports Beat. The BCCI has yet to finalize who will coach the Indian cricket team after Duncan Fletcher. There are reports that former Indian captain Saurav Ganguly is being considered for the role. However, BCCI Secretary Anurag Thakur said no final decision has been taken yet. Thakur is expected to meet the board president Jagmohan Dalmia later today to discuss the matter. The South African cricket team will tour India in October this year. BCCI today announced the venues for the 2-month tour. Ahmedabad, Delhi, Nagpur and Bangalore will hold the test series. Chennai, Kanpur, MPCA, Rajkot and Mumbai will hold the 5 one-day internationals. The 3 T20 matches will be played in Kolkata, Mohali and Dharamshala. Pakistan pulled off a sensational last-over win in the second T20 international against Zimbabwe to win the series 2-0. Chasing a target of 176, Pakistan needed 12 runs of the last over. Tailender Bilawal Bhatti hit a 6 and a 4 to help his team chase down the target with 2 balls to spare. Both teams will now play 3 one-day internationals. Triumphant Indian boxers returned home today after a successful outing in the Doha International Boxing Tournament. India bagged 4 golds, 1 silver and 2 bronze medals at the event. Commonwealth Games silver medalists L. Devendra Singh, Shiva Thapa, Manish Kaushik and Manoj Kumar won the gold medals. Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.